Joining us in studio right now from Mrs. Baird's Teacher on the Rise, Teachers on the Rise, it's Shane Sumrow. Shane, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
How's Teachers on the Rise?
Teachers on the Rise is just an awesome program. We're doing so well. We're bringing it back for our 6th year here in Lubbock in the South Plains area. 6 years. Time flies. But the program is just growing every single year. We're now starting to be known for the program. People are asking about it now. And so, school started yesterday. That website is open, so you can go nominate your teachers. We're going to have a great year.
What's the website? We'll get that out there right now.
Absolutely. If you have a great teacher you'd like to honor, it's mrsbteacher.com. So MRS, the letter B like boy, teacher.com. I always say it's almost easier just to Google Teachers on the Rise. It'll take you right to that landing page. And when you get there, just fill out a little information about yourself, a little bit about your teacher, and then it says write an essay about your teacher. Of course, we're not grading essay. This is not the SAT. But we do want you to be as detailed as possible. We know teachers are great, teachers are nice, but what we're looking for are teachers who go above and beyond the call of duty every day, teachers who've had a great impact on your life or your child's life. Those are the stories we want to hear, and try to be as detailed as possible, because that's what will kind of put you to the top of the list.
Yeah, so this is the 6th year for Teachers on the Rise. How did this get started?
This all started in Fort Smith, Arkansas, of all places. It was a new market for Mrs. Baird's Bread back in 2010. And we had a manager in Arkansas who then got transferred to Lubbock, and he said, I love that program in Arkansas. I'm going to move it to Lubbock. So we added the Lubbock market the next year, and it's just taken off from there. We did it here in Lubbock 2 years, and he said, I think it's going well here. Let's move it up to the Amarillo and Panhandle area. So now we do it in both Lubbock in the South Plains and Amarillo in the Panhandle. They don't compete against each other. It's two separate programs, but these are the only two markets in the state of Texas that Mrs. Baird's does Teachers on the Rise.
So what are some of you've got to have some good stories after starting 6 years now. What are some of your favorite stories that you've taken away from this program?
We hear all kinds. Sometimes you need a tissue box when you're reading the nominations, because these students really pour out their hearts and will tell us many more details than they'll even tell their friends or family or even their teacher. As we were saying a minute ago before we came on, we had one teacher who teaches middle school history. He says she teaches 150 kids, and she would have pegged the teacher, the kid who nominated her, about 145th. She said, I had no idea I was having that type of impact on that student. They wouldn't tell me, but they would tell you. But we hear all kinds of stories about how a teacher has helped them. They were failing a class, and how this teacher came in and even on the weekends and helped them, tutored them on their own time to help them make better grades. We hear stories, heartbreaking stories about how students couldn't afford a cap and gown, and the teacher pays it out of their pocket so that kid can graduate. Just awesome stories like that about the great ways that these teachers go above and beyond the call of duty every day. And we know it happens every day. In the classroom, it's just the teachers and the students. Those are, every now and then an administrator sits in, but those are who's in the classroom, and those those students know those stories. And boy, I tell you what, we hear some great ones.
Well, and I what I think is also great about this is that, teachers go through so much on the bad side, whether it's dealing with some students who don't like going to school, some parents who don't want to be involved in their kids' education, unsupportive administration sometimes. So this has got to be just a big thrill for those teachers, one, who get nominated, but also those who come away a winner as well. They've got to be just thrilled.
They are, and I tell you what, teachers are the last humans in the world who are expecting recognition, and so that's why we want to make these when we get a winning teacher, and we do 3 every single month. We'll select an elementary, middle school, and high school winner every single month, and then we like to surprise them because they're not expecting it. And so what I'll do is I'll contact the principals at their schools, and we like to make these presentations as big as possible. We even did a Lubbock High presentation at one of their football games. In the middle, between the first and second quarter, we're out on the 20-yard line. So we do like to make them big. We like to make them special, and the teachers are not expecting it because they're just doing their job according to them.
Yeah.
They're the most humble folks in the world. And in fact, at the end of the year, we invite all 27 of our winning teachers for our year-end banquet that's held at the Texas Tech Club and sponsored by the Lubbock Economic Development Alliance. Couldn't do it without them. And this year we had a teacher, our grand prize teacher said, The grand prize gets $1,000 gift card. It's a great prize. But the grand prize winner said, my church has fallen on some hard times, and I'm going to donate every penny of this back to my church.
Wow.
These teachers, and a lot of times they get their prize money because they do win some great prizes from United Supermarkets and the Texas Tech Club, and they'll turn around and donate that back to somebody or put that money into their classroom. That's what, these teachers are all about.
It's Mrs. Baird's Teachers on the Rise. It's kicked off this week. It is the first week of school.
Yes.
Shane, tell the parents so that way they can communicate it to their kids what they need to do if they've got a teacher starting this week that's made a difference in their life.
Right. You just dropped your kids off at school. So, have a conversation with them after school. Tell them about the program. And, we like it, the nominations that come from the students, but we know in elementary, the parents have to get pretty involved. And so if the parents want to submit the nomination too, that is just fine. But, we're looking for all those great stories. We know there's lots of great first day of school, first week of school stories about maybe a kindergarten student didn't want to go to school for the first time, but then when the parent went to pick them up at the end of the day, they didn't want to leave because that teacher made them feel so welcome. Those are the types of stories we hear now. But if you have a teacher from last year that you didn't realize had an impact on you, but you do now, want to tell us about those teachers, that's perfectly fine. We even have some high school students nominate their middle school teachers because they didn't realize then how prepared they were for high school, or they look back and say, man, that my middle school teacher in English was so great, and now I want to recognize her. So that is just fine, too. It's just those stories we're looking for.
Yeah. Shane, thanks for stopping by today.
No, thanks for having me, and we're looking forward to a great year.